Hi, I'm Nathaniel, manager of the Flux team at InfluxDB.
And I'm Brian, Director of IoT and Emerging Technologies, also at InfluxDB.
And today we're going to take a look at an architecture overview of IoT applications within InfluxDB.
Absolutely.
Why is time series so critical to IoT applications?
Well, if you think about IoT, it's really all about sensors. And sensor data, by its nature, is time series data. So when people are building applications with IoT as a component of the stack, they're really interested in two particular types of data. Number one, the real-time data, which is what are each of those sensors saying right now, and then also a historical record of those sensor readings over time. The great thing about InfluxDB is that's where we excel, is in sort of storing those two types of data and making them available upstream to other applications.
Wonderful. So how does the data get from the edge and then end up in InfluxDB?
Sure. Well, we have a number of integrations, right? So we have our Telegraph agent, which of course has a lot of connectivity. It will allow you to do things like connect up with gateways that sort of support the MQTT protocol. But then we have a lot of great partnerships as well with companies like HiByte and Kepware Technologies, who do that hard work of communicating with the very proprietary industrial data protocols and then expose that data to a layer that's available to Influx data.
Okay, and who's consuming all this data? Like who's doing the work here?
Well, I mean, it depends on the organization, it depends on the industry, but most, especially on the industrial side industries, will have somebody who's responsible for operations, right? So if these are, again, oil rigs or they're wind turbines, you're gonna have somebody who's responsible for the maintenance and operation of those assets. And they just want that sort of real-time visibility into, is it running, is it not, how do the temperatures look, how do the pressures look, right? Now, outside of those operations teams, there are all the lines of business folks, right? So like, again, solar farm, wind farm, you might have teams who are wondering, can we predict into the future what those wind turbines are going to do and how that would affect, say, the price we're going to be able to charge to market? You've also got those data scientists who are actually responsible for doing that hard math to give those lines of business people that information. We have a lot of really great ways through our APIs and our connections with tools like Jupyter Notebooks and the Python Scientific Computing Library and R to actually let them do their work in the areas that they're most comfortable. And then finally, we have the executive teams at all these companies, and they just want to really focus on all the high-level KPIs. And what InfluxDB is really good at is taking all of those sort of like primary use cases and allowing you to roll those all up into KPIs like overall system performance or company performance or projected revenue.
Okay, and so we've got all these different needs, and we've got the devs here. How do they connect those dots? How do they get from one to the other?
Sure, and this is another great reason that they would choose something like InfluxDB, is that we surface all of this time series and all of this, or this real-time, this historical data with a single set of APIs. So no matter the use case, whether it's visibility, forensics in terms of trying to solve problems or keep things from breaking again, or those optimizations of being able to like look out into the future and figure out what you need to do for things to work better, you can build all of those different apps and serve all of those different stakeholders on one set of APIs for your time series data. So no matter that complexity downstream, it's very easy for those developers to deliver.
To refresh myself here, so we've got the complexity of the edge, and then we have the complexity of the various needs for the different parts of the organization. And we got the devs sitting in the middle who can use this tooling to create nice APIs between those two to deliver the applications.
Fast, easy, simple, and with really low cost to implement.
Wonderful. And we've kind of looked at this from the perspective of like solar wind farms, but what about other industries?
Well, I mean, every industry has their edge, right? So if you're looking at retail, this could be the stores and the point of sale devices. If it's oil and gas, it could be, the drill sites or the rigs or the ships. And it doesn't really matter. The same architecture applies to all of these technologies. It's really what's behind the IoT, and it's really what's driving a lot of uptake of time series databases.
Well, thank you for the overview. That was super helpful getting the big picture.
No worries at all.
If you want more information, check out our docs. We can't wait to see what you build.